I don't have a filter, and I don't care if people know that I fail or succeed on things, because, I mean, that's just life. If anybody tries to make everything seem like everything's perfect, it's a flat-out lie. So this week, today we were supposed to be at Good Guys, and nothing worked out. We've had just a couple hurdles this week. Things didn't work out the way I wanted to, and if we'd gone to Good Guys, it would be me at my trailer and no cars. So I just pulled the plug, decided not to go, because we just, probably an hour and a half ago, got the doors on Phil's truck, and to me, it wasn't worth showing it if it was just the bare cab, and I just didn't really want to get to that point. Man, look at me in that thing, man. And if you ask Phil, he says he's just going to drive this thing back and forth to the desert and go to work. Let's be honest, though, I really feel like Phil's going to be a little scared to drive it.
Yeah.
When it's all said and done. So, doors are on. Keenan's working on the fenders now, so I kind of figured a better use of my time since we're trying to get to Dino's. Not that we didn't want to go to Good Guys, but instead of me sitting at the show with no car in the booth and nobody to help me run the booth, I think a better use of my time, unfortunately, was to be at the shop to get caught up from just the road hurdles that we came in contact with this week. But things happen, whatever, you know. But core support, all this stuff is painted and cleared. A lot of the times we just use like a single stage matte black. On this stuff, I did all base coat clear coat with matte clear, just because I really like the sheen a little bit better with this than the other stuff we use. So on this, I use the BASF 5600 clear, and I flattened it 1-to-1, so it's like equal parts 5600 and BC 101, and then I reduce it after that with the reducer and hardener. And spray it. So I like this sheen more than I like the single stage stuff that we've used in the past. I think this is a cooler look. So the fenders are done. Like I said, Keenan's getting them buffed, so the 3 days that I'll be here, or be able to be here, maybe by next week or next weekend, it'll actually be kind of more or less all put together. The supercharger, we got notification today that the supercharger arrived over at Cody's shop, so the supercharger's here. Next week next week to weekend we'll put supercharger on, front drive, front clip. I gotta paint the brake booster. I gotta paint the same black as I did this stuff, so it all kind of matches in. And the core support will go in, then the radiator, we'll figure out radiator hoses, and everything will just, I think it's gonna start flying together. So Philip got most of his harness built, so like this is a couple of the harnesses coming out, so he already kind of like pre-wired everything. He showed you last week, I guess, the inside stuff.
Well, we kind of had to peek through the window, back window, because Keenan had it taped up.
So
working on it.
He kind of has been geeking out on getting everything loomed or like set up, and then the connectors are on the inside. I mean, he's setting himself up for success on putting this. And I don't think he realizes how much time he saved by doing that either, because wiring is a big part of like final assembly of these cars, like getting everything perfect. And by doing that when he's out of town and he can't work on it, you know, it may seem to him like, well, I'm not getting anything done. I think he's getting a lot more done than he thinks he is, you know?
Yeah.
So, and then we're painting and doing body work while he's gone. So all that's left now is to paint the top side of the hood and finish the bed. But the bed can go on literally like the week before. I mean, if it had to, it could go on the day before we left. It wouldn't matter. Be a little stressful that way, but
yeah, I'm sure you'd rather have it done now.
I'd rather have it done sooner than later. but he's got his coilovers in. I mean, he's done a lot. So it's very cool, very exciting.
Well, and how's the SEXI red over here coming out?
I'll let Blake tell you all about that.
Okay.
He's been working his tail off on it. So I'll show you my speaker box. I got it wrapped.
Oh yeah, I saw it on Facebook.
That was the other thing that kind of. This is, you know, the big deal with this was to get it all done for going to Good Guys. And, I mean, it's turned out killer. I think it looks bitchin'.
Dang, dude.
All the speakers, you know, they all got the light-up grills and everything in them, so...
Oh, that's right. I forgot it lights up.
Yeah, it looks really cool when it's all lit up. But right now, it's, I guess its debut will be Good Guy, or Dino's instead of Good Guys. The other thing was the trailer too. Man, wraps are expensive. I mean, Wes takes care of us on everything. When I asked him about wrapping the trailer, I wanted to have it done for Good Guys. And we came up with a design, or I gave him my ideas. He designed it. The design is awesome. And then by the time we got materials involved with it and the labor, man, it was expensive.
Is that like, is it 5-digit?
Yes.
Wow, okay.
More than I
figured.
Yeah, it was more than I thought it was going to be, which it's worth it, but I wasn't really ready to jump that deep into it before Good Guys, so, but I plan on having it done for Dino's. Because I think it'll show better out there too, because you see all the way around my trailer at Dino's. I think it'll be cool, so.
Plus it'll look cool heading out to the desert.
Oh, it's awesome design. Like, it's got the same kind of colors. It's very 90s looking. 80s, like late 80s or early 90s kind of vibe to it. It's going to look really, really cool. I'm excited about it. Other than that, I mean, that's all I've been really working on was Philip's truck. I went to that business class. Tell you all about that. So, it's that Ironworks class. I showed on that last one. That is a class that I feel like almost everybody could benefit from. And this is not a paid sponsorship by him either, just so y'all know. Like, I'm not being told I have to say nothing. But it was absolutely killer. I learned a lot. There was 19 guys in my class. Or in the class, not my class, the class. There's 19 guys in the class. And not only was it beneficial to hear from each guy that was in there, I mean, because it was Troy from BBT Fab. And Roger from Ironworks Customs. But then there was 19 other guys in there that own shops too. So it's not only what you hear from Troy and Roger, but it was also the other 19 shops of like comparing notes almost on like, you know, how they do things, how they do billing, how they, you know, weed out their customers. And I mean, it's everything. More or less about picking your lane and staying in it. I think we all have a problem on wanting to, you know, oh, I want to do this, I want to do that. And, you know, I'm pretty picky on my car, so I felt like I already had my lane picked necessarily, because I think all of our cars kind of have the same vibe, more or less, except Justin's red one. There's a lot of shiny. I like the truck.
I like it too.
But the shiny is not my...
I know it's not your cup of tea.
But it is a...
But I dig it seeing it come out here. It's something different.
Oh, yeah. It looks awesome rolling up. Like... Took it earlier and calibrated the speedometer on it, and when he's pulling up, I was like, that's a sharp truck. He talked about putting trim on it. I kind of feel like the trim would do it injustice a little bit.
I was kind of thinking the same thing.
I don't really like it. I don't, because it may be awesome, but aftermarket trim to me is just not going to be the same. Like, if it doesn't fit right, I think it's going to take away from the work that's been done on it personally. But it's ultimately his decision, and by the time he sees this, he will have already probably had us drill holes in the side of the bed. Maybe not, though. Maybe we can deter him somehow or another. He's pretty excited. He comes over here about every 45 minutes. I don't know why he ain't stopped by yet while you've been here. That dude bird dogging.
I mean, he was, yeah. We were talking. He was here. We were talking about that last Thursday. He was here last Thursday.
Dude, I watched the video. I'm like, did he let these guys work on the truck, or did he just like look over them?
Yeah, and he was already asking me again for this red truck about that LS3 I have sitting on the stand. He's been trying to buy it off me for years.
He's like, what do you think, man? You think I'll put 500 horse to the wheels in this thing? I'm like, no. It's an LS1. Like, it ain't ever going to make it.
Yeah.
LS1 with a cam is not going to make 500 tire. I'm sorry.
I mean, and at the end of the day, you don't even need 500 to have fun in this thing.
No, he's not the guy that's going to run this thing out like that anyway.
So I mean, what size is this rocking in the back?
They're 20 by 12s.
Okay. And they're Pilot Sport 4s. They're good tires. I mean,
they'll be fine.
Yeah.
But anywho, I don't know where I was going. Anyways, the class. Go to Ironworks Customs, find the class, sign up for it. I think everybody would gain a lot out of it. I did. There's a lot of things that we do that we practice already that were like already in the class, like things we're already doing. But like a lot of what I felt like helped me the most was more or less picking the lane for me, because there's a book called The E-Myth. One of the guys, when I did my rant, messaged on one of his comments and said, hey, you should check out this E-Myth book. And I was like, I thought it was like one of those, hey, check out my book thing, so I didn't recognize it for a while. And then I got to talking to Roger, and he said, hey, man, have you read that E-Myth book? And I said, no. He's like, we've read it. You should check it out. So I listened to it. And there's 3 parts of, like, owning a business, right? There's the entrepreneur, the manager, and the mechanic. You know, and it's hard to be all 3. So you got to kind of figure out your lane, because I can't, you know, it takes a very special person to be able to, like, say, okay, I'm going to open up a hot rod shop, right? And then I'm going to be the guy who runs everybody, and then I'm going to do all the work too. Like, if you try to be all 3, somewhere in there you're gonna fail. Like, something's going to lose the attention, right?
Right.
So for me, it really helped me open my eyes on what I want to do moving forward for me as the business owner, and that will help me personally in my business life and my family life, really.
Better balance.
It'll help me balance everything out, and I think it'll help me be a better owner, operator for my guys too. So this week has been me trying to get everything kind of leveled out from being back, and then I'm going to implement a new set of guidelines and procedures for next week. So
that's cool. I've seen you juggle it all, and I'm sure it's difficult because you start off working on the vehicles, so when you become an owner, I'm sure it's still in your mind that, like, I need to be out here working on this stuff.
Well, and I kind of noticed it, and it kind of got me in a funk a while ago too, because I'd be in the body shop, because I like being in the body shop. Well, I'd be working on one side of the bed, and then I get pulled away to do whatever, whether it be helping Blake or Keenan or one of the other guys, or car wash or lube center, or helping my wife or whatever. Well, then they catch up to me, so they were like, well, I don't know where he stopped and what he did, so technically I'm slowing my guys down by trying to help. Like, I need to lend a hand, but it's just, you know, we'll figure it all out. It's learning, growing. Hell, I'm only 41 years old, so, I mean, I got many more years ahead of me. I'd rather fail more now and figure it out. Like, I got a sign over that says, I haven't failed, I've just found 10,000 ways to do it wrong. You know?
Yeah, I do like that sign.
That's probably my favorite saying, quote that we've got over there. Like, I don't feel like anything's ever a failure, but there's times I've really screwed some stuff up. But if you don't learn from your mistakes, then how do you ever learn? And really, right. Especially when nobody's here to teach me how to run a business or be whatever. It's like I learned everything by failing the first time or the second time and figuring it out from there. But I think it's a good class. I mean, I think it could be beneficial for everybody. Even if you weren't in the hot rod industry, even if you were like, I mean, even Luke should take it just so he knew. I mean, it really opens up your eyes and helps you put things into perspective, especially when you hear from that many other people having the same issues that you are.
Yeah.
It's knowing it's not just me, you know?
I've noticed that when I go to, like, I hear stuff that you say or you complain about or issues that you run into, and then I go to other shops and I hear kind of the same thing. So it seems like it's a common thing that y'all have to deal with, and it's probably hard to navigate, I'm sure. Like you said, there's no guidelines. There's no book.
I think if you went and got a master's degree in business, I don't think building hot rods would be any easier. Like, I don't think it would make it any easier.
Custom, it's really like, it's being an artist, but also trying to be like a white-collar businessman at the same time.
They used me as an example a lot in that class, because if you watch my YouTube channel or you follow me on social media, you know I don't really hold back on anything. So they're like, you know, hey, it works for him and he's able to get away with it. Not everybody can get away with saying what's on their mind, but I kind of became like the pincushion there a little bit, like, you know, so this guy over here does that, and I'm like, so I had to fend for myself a little bit. But they weren't being mean about it, but they were just, because I put so much out there,
Right.
and I don't have a filter, and I don't care if people know that I fail or succeed on things, because, I mean, that's just life. If anybody tries to make everything seem like everything's perfect, it's a flat-out lie.
Yeah, that's true.
It's a lie, and I just don't care if anybody knows. So, like, I'm daily struggles through everything, and sometimes I put it out there when I'm pissed off at somebody. If you happen to be here the day that I'm pissed off, then it might just make the channel that day, you know? So I got no regrets about it. It is what it is, you know? But it's worth the class. So anyways, rant over on that. If you feel like you have something to learn, which everybody does, and you're willing to absorb and not just think that people are like criticizing you or whatever, if you'll take in constructive criticism, the class is 200% worth it. So I would recommend it to everybody. I think you talk to the guys in a couple weeks and the things they want to do, and I think that they'll agree that things have changed for the better.
Cool. Well, I'm excited to see that.
All right, well, that's it for me today.
I guess I was about to tell you you're at your 15-minute warning.
Has it been that long already?
Yeah.
Dang.
It's hard to get everything out sometimes.
Well, and sometimes when I get this in me, it's just like I just keep talking. You know, we're done. I'll see you later. We'll talk later.
All right. I'll try and be more politically correct. I hit record, so.
Oh, so we're rolling?
Yeah. Don't be dropping burritos.
I won't. Speaking of burritos,
I know. I saw you.
Justin, that was lunch, or that was breakfast and lunch for me. No cinnamon rolls this week, though. So.
I'm gonna have to show up with some tomorrow for you.
Oh yeah. What time are you gonna be here?
What time are you gonna be here?
I usually try to get here. I'm gonna try to get here early tomorrow, between 7 and 8.
Okay.
What time's? I think O'Reilly's opens at 7:30. So I got.
O'Reilly's.
Well, they had 3 different jingles. One was like, "Go with the O'Reilly."
Oh yeah.
And then they had high low O'Reilly, because it used to be high low O'Reilly.
Oh really?
Yeah. I'm pretty sure.
That.
And then it was go with the earth. No, I already said that one. It's O'Reilly.
Oh yeah, the one that you hear the most nowadays.
Yeah. So, let's see. We got Sexy Red here.
It looks good, man. It looks good. The whole bed it looks good now that it's got the bed on it. Everything's been buffed.
Were you able to see the rake that it had? Like,
No,
it had a pretty good rake.
Here, let me.
Now I think it's like, I like the stance a lot better.
Gotta get rid of this.
Oh, get the trash can out of the
Can't
way.
be having that in the shot. I can't really see the front, but I can see the back.
I mean, it's got a little rake, but you're gonna have, unless you raise the front, you're not gonna get it any lower than it is right now.
Was that his main concern? He wanted it really slammed.
He
back
wanted it
there?
as low as it can go, but without raising.
I think it looks like a tough, like late '60s, early '70s muscle truck.
Yeah, it looks really good. But without raising the bed floor, like right now we have 2.5 inches from the top of the pumpkin to the bed floor.
Is that kind of cutting it close?
Yeah.
I don't know what the, okay.
Yeah.
It might end up like the blue-gray F100?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not sanding that thing again.
I would just throw a bed mat in it and just roll it.
For sure.
So, and then it's self-clearance, and then you can drop it down another half
That's right,
inch.
and you can use the bed of the truck at that point.
And then, do y'all want to see the tailgate since everyone was...
Oh,
Boom.
man, that looks really nice.
It's pretty slick.
Was the adjusting pretty difficult on it? I remember you saying.
No, we actually kind of nailed it. Like the first, we just got lucky. We saw where Ken, when he was fitting it, on the backside, we saw where the marks were these bolts, and we just lined it up, and
nice.
It matched. So, and that's it.
Wow.
So the next thing is it's got to go over to Cody's and get tuned. I put some miles on it today, filled it up, reset the ride height in the rear, calibrated the speedometer, put his door knobs on, his door lock knobs that I broke, that he wouldn't let me forget. And then I realized today that we have not put a fuel tank vent on.
Oh.
So.
Does that mean you're gonna have to monkey your way somewhere in there, or do you
No,
think
it's
you have
not.
to drop
It's not hard getting like the hose attached, but what we like to do is run like a charcoal canister.
Oh, okay.
But
as a filter.
yeah, but there's no where to put that under there, and it can't. The vent line can't have any drop in it, so it has to go. It really should go immediately up, and then the canister store, you know, up in the bedside or something. But it's really tight, so I don't know what we're gonna do. I'm just gonna run a hose and then just tie a bunch of paper towels around the top and put a zip tie on it, stick it back there behind the taillight. If he hasn't complained of smelling fuel now, then there's no issue, right?
I mean, what's the point in owning an old vehicle if you aren't gonna, you know, really get that whole scent?
That's right. That's right. So that's it, really. I think.
Well, cool, man. Looks nice. Everything looks good.
It rides nice. It rides really good.
All right, so last week y'all saw that I was wet sanding. So it is painted. It is glossy blue. This is Phillips hood.
Now, did you say last week it was going to be matte?
I think I did.
Okay.
I think I did.
Well, I couldn't remember if I was remembering correctly or not.
I was wrong.
It doesn't matter. Either way, it looks great.
It looks great. It is a little dustier now. Don't mind that. But it is beautiful. It is done. KC is going to come in this weekend and wet sand the top side, I believe, because I think he wants to paint it next week.
Yeah, I think he said that.
Yeah, so, yeah, that will be done. We can run into the booth to see what we did. So, you good?
Yeah.
Okay. So me and Nick this week busted out on the fenders of the BELAIR. So this is the first rough-in of the fenders and the deck lid. This is the trunk lid. So
it's hard to see, but I'm trying to show off like how thin of a skim coat.
Oh yeah, I mean, dude.
Last week when you first showed it to me, I was like, man, that thing looks. But I remember you did say that y'all hadn't started on it yet.
Yeah. So I mean, to be more, you never want filler.
Right.
People say filler's bad, whatever. I mean, for what we do, I mean, we're not adding, you know, what some people do. I mean, we're adding paper thin stuff.
Yeah.
Just to get a natural wave out. Yeah,
I've seen some 1/4 inch stuff.
Yeah, shoot. I've had to use a grinder with a freaking cutting wheel and just dug in before. I mean, yeah, people were insane with it. We don't do that. We hammer and dolly most of it, whatever we can. And we'll pull and file whatever we need to.
Yeah, because are these the fenders that I filmed last week that were wavy that had?
Yeah.
Okay, these
Nick
are
yeah. So
they look so much straighter now.
And so it does look like a lot, but it's really not a lot. You know, it is perfectly safe, good. It's not going to crack out. I knocked out the deck lid the past 2 days. This is probably about, I would say, probably a good 13 hours of roughing in.
Wow.
Just the deck lid, and which I know that sounds crazy, but when you get into it and you're doing this kind of detailed work,
yeah.
I mean, you can see how much I had a skim coat, because no bashing the people that did the metal work, but they heat it, they grind it, it warps, it twists, it turns, whatever you want to say.
I feel like that's a recurring theme with any build, right?
Yeah.
It's like it goes to the fab shop first. Mm-hmm. The fab guys usually do an excellent job, but like it's hard when you're looking at bare metal.
Yeah, no,
sometimes besides putting a straight edge to it, it's hard to tell.
I mean, really, whenever this whole car was put together and bare metal, it looked ready for paint.
Yeah. Oh, I saw it.
Yeah, and I mean, you can see.
I was like, oh, this thing will be in and out of here in like a month.
I thought that too.
Fools we are.
3 months later. But so these are all BELAIR parts. The 2 doors, 2 front fenders, the deck lid, core support, cowl. And those are the headlight brackets that actually hold the headlight on.
Okay.
That is body worked and ready for poly. That's last poly, last poly, last poly. Those will be ready for final sand. All these will be the first time they've been polyed on the outside. Mm-hmm. Hopefully next week, I think we may be getting the frame back. I'm not too sure. But we're at the step where we put the car together and then we block each panel to each other. So you get that seamless look.
Well, after seeing Phil C10 and Justin C10 and paint and polish, I can't wait to see this thing.
Oh, I know.
It's going to look amazing.
Black too? Dude, it's going to be... It's gonna be pretty slick. And then I'll show you the firewall.
Okay.
We just recently started on the firewall. Messing up production here.
He knows we're about to just get it dirty.
This guy.
He is the one that pays for it, so.
Yeah. I guess he's in the right. So this will be quick. Pretty much we just started blocking the firewall for paint. It's a 240 grit. It was at 180. So that'll be all nice and done. And Nick, I'll let Nick give him his update.
He said he just let you do it all.
Oh, okay. Well,
I asked him earlier, I saw him. He seemed like he was trying to get some other stuff done.
Yeah. So he spent this week on the back side of the BELAIR. Moving forward just a hair. So he got all this done. All around the taillight housings, into the tops of the quarter panels, across the back cowl. So he blocked all that in 120 grit. So it is ready for second coat of poly. And yeah, he pretty much did all this back here.
Man.
And it really, I mean, the difficult part about these is like, you wouldn't think so, but it's curves. It's just constant
to me,
curves.
I feel like anything that has like that whole waterfall shape, it gets difficult.
Oh yeah, like, because you're matching this curve with this curve, but you're also having a curve like this. So like you have to blend all those together. So that's what really takes the longest, is blending everything together to make it look nice and sharp. Especially with areas like this where, I mean, like that's only a curve. There is no flat spot on that whole entire edge right here, so.
And even getting in this flange area, I feel like this is so tedious.
Yeah, I mean.
And I've seen him with his little fingers.
Yeah.
Well, he doesn't have little fingers.
He don't, but I mean, I wish
he does that little finger work.
I already cleaned up today, but like, you should see our carts when we're done for a day. Like, I mean, you have 30 different size blocks.
Look like it had snowed on there.
Yeah, like you have 30 different blocks, and you would think you'd only need 2 or 3, but a section takes 20 blocks to get it perfectly.
Wow.
So, I mean, all little detailed fine sanders, big ones. But yeah, I mean, Nick knocked that out. Everything else is ready. I mean, the card's ready to go together and start blocking together and get this thing out of here. Canton has a lot to fill you in, so I'll let him fill you in.
All right.
But yeah, that's pretty much it.
I know. I heard you were about to say it.
What?
You almost said it. That's my short.
That's my short and sweet. Hey, he's not even right there.
Short and sweet. Last week and this week, I'm sure Nick and Chase probably filled you in. The square body entire cab is in 320. We're ready to do some wet sanding. I mean, I'll chip in. Not that I want to, but I will. Team player. Today we finished up some seam sealer, got all the edges seam sealed on the cab. I was waiting for it to dry so we could sand it up a little bit in urethane, just a few spots in on the jam. Getting the bed ready now. Tailgate, all the little nooks and crannies so you don't skip anything.
Ridiculous how awesome work you put in on that front side of that bed and the back side of the cab, knowing that it'll never be seen.
Jams where hinges are, but they look really good. Oh, and I finished up the firewall. Firewall is ready to be wet sanded and painted. I was pretty excited about these sharp lines that came out after body working and blocking it.
Yeah, this front end looked like it came out of a mold itself.
That would be cool. That's my short and sweet. Stay in school so you don't have to do body work.
Hey, oh hey.
Hey.
Didn't see you there. This week, sanded Phillips' truck. I think that, yeah, this week I did. So I sanded the fenders and the doors, and I was absent yesterday, so that's as far as we got. But the doors are buffed out. We sanded 800 to 3,000, and Casey helped me sand or finish the doors out. So you can kind of see what we're doing here, taking that's the orange peel left that it didn't quite see when it was all wet, so.
I hate that when that happens.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's fine, but you can kind of tell what we're going for. makes a difference when you buff it out with that compared to that.
Yeah.
And then a big old piece of trash that's not quite out yet, but we're only at 800, so we still got some meat left. Sanded those, and then have you seen Philip's truck yet? The doors and
he
stuff?
showed it, but you can still show it if you want.
You can just re-clip it. I just made it shiny, so, and me and Blake put them on the doors.
Yeah, I'm trying to get that. Do you have that clip that was posted on social media of you buffing the top of it?
No, that was Phil and...
I'll text Phil. I'll ask him for it.
But that's really all that I did. Just a bunch of boring sanding, so no wonder Cantons are always short and sweet.
Yeah, go ahead.
That'll work.